The stars looked different through Valdorian eyes. Captain Zephyr 9 ascending stood on the bridge of his research vessel, watching the endless void of space through the main viewing screen. His ship, the Harmony of Spheres, moved silently through the darkness between star systems. For 3 months, they had been mapping this region of space, looking for new worlds and new life. Zephyr was tall and thin like all Valdorians. His blue-green skin glowed softly in the dim light of the bridge. 6 arms moved gracefully as he worked at different control panels. His people had been exploring space for over 300 years. They were good at finding new species and helping them join the galactic community. "Captain, we have found something interesting," called Dr. Harmony 7 flowing from her science station. She was the ship's lead scientist, an expert at studying new planets and the life forms that lived on them. Her voice carried the musical quality that all Valdorians shared when they spoke. "What have you discovered?" Zephyr asked, moving to her station with smooth, flowing steps. "There is a star system 12 light-years ahead. It has 9 planets, and the third one shows signs of life. Not just simple life, Captain. This appears to be an intelligent species." Zephyr felt excitement build in his chest. Finding intelligent life was rare and wonderful. His people took great pride in helping younger species grow and learn. They had successfully brought 237 different species into their peaceful collective over the centuries. "Show me what you have found," he said. The main screen changed to show a yellow star surrounded by several planets. The third planet was blue and green, with white clouds swirling around it. It looked beautiful and alive. "The planet has water, oxygen, and a stable climate," Dr. Harmony explained. "But look at this." She pressed several buttons and the image changed. Now they could see lights on the dark side of the planet. The lights formed patterns that looked like cities and roads. "They have electricity," Zephyr said with wonder. "And look at those orbital objects. Those are artificial satellites." "Yes, Captain. This species has reached space, but they have not yet learned to travel between stars. They are perfect for first contact." Zephyr studied the readings more carefully. The electromagnetic signals coming from the planet were strong and organized. This was definitely an intelligent species that had built a complex civilization. "How advanced are they?" he asked. "They appear to be using nuclear power and early fusion technology. Their communication networks cover the entire planet. They have sent simple robots to nearby planets in their system. I would estimate they are perhaps 50 to 100 years away from achieving faster-than-light travel." This was exactly what Valdorians looked for. A species that was smart enough to understand advanced concepts, but not so advanced that they would be difficult to guide. Young species like this were usually grateful for help and eager to learn. "Begin standard observation protocols," Zephyr ordered. "I want to know everything about this species before we make contact." The next several days were busy on the Harmony of Spheres. The ship moved closer to the planet, staying hidden behind one of the system's outer planets. Valdorian technology was so advanced that the primitive species would never detect them. Dr. Harmony and her team worked around the clock, studying the signals coming from the planet. They discovered that the dominant species called themselves humans, and they called their planet Earth. The humans had many different languages, but a few were spoken by most of the population. "They are fascinating," Dr. Harmony reported to Captain Zephyr. "They have created remarkable art, music, and literature. Their emotional range is very wide. They experience joy, sadness, love, and fear with great intensity." "What about their society?" Zephyr asked. "Are they peaceful?" "They have many different nations and cultures. Some conflict exists between groups, but they also show great cooperation. They have organizations that work to help people all over their planet. They seem to care deeply about their families and communities." Zephyr was pleased. This sounded like a species that would fit well into the galactic collective. Emotional depth and social cooperation were good signs. "What about their technology?" he asked. "They are very creative," Dr. Harmony said. "Their approach to problem solving is different from ours, but effective. They have built amazing machines and structures. They have even sent some of their people to their planet's moon. The science team intercepted human television broadcasts, radio programs, and computer networks. They were amazed by human entertainment. The humans seemed to love stories, games, and competitions. They had created thousands of different sports and spent enormous amounts of time watching other humans compete. They are very social, noted Dr. Melody Three-Seeking, the ship's cultural analyst. They gather in large groups to watch events together. They cheer for their favorite competitors and feel real emotion about the outcomes. This is good, Zephyr said. Social species adapt well to galactic community life. The Vivaldorians were impressed by human curiosity. The humans constantly asked questions about their world and the universe around them. They built powerful telescopes to study distant stars. They sent robotic probes to explore other planets in their system. They were clearly ready to learn about the larger galaxy. They have already begun searching for life on other worlds, Dr. Harmony reported. They have built radio telescopes to listen for signals from space. They are hoping to find other intelligent species. Perfect, Zephyr said. They will be excited to meet us. After 2 weeks of observation, Captain Zephyr felt confident that the humans were ready for first contact. They were intelligent, social, curious, and technologically advanced, enough to understand what was being offered to them. Most importantly, they seemed peaceful and cooperative. Begin first contact preparations, he ordered. We will follow standard protocol. Start with mathematical signals to establish communication, then move to pictographic language, and finally, to direct contact. The crew of the Harmony of Spheres was excited. First contact was the most important work the Valdorians did. They would be the first to welcome a new species into the galactic community. It was an honor and a responsibility they took very seriously. Dr. Harmony prepared the communication equipment while Dr. Melody gathered cultural exchange materials. They had gifts to offer the humans: clean energy technology, medical advances, and scientific knowledge that would help the humans solve many of their problems. Remember, Captain Zephyr told his crew, we must be patient and gentle. This species has never encountered alien life before. They may be frightened or confused at first. We must show them that we come in peace and friendship. The Valdorians had done this many times before. They knew exactly how to approach a new species. First, they would establish communication. Then they would begin cultural exchange. Finally, they would invite the species to join the Galactic Collective, where they would receive protection, guidance, and access to advanced technology. It always worked the same way. The new species would be amazed by Valdorian technology and grateful for their help. Within a few years, they would become productive members of the galactic community. Their unique cultures and perspectives would enrich the collective while they benefited from the wisdom and knowledge of older species. As the Harmony of Spheres moved into position for first contact, Captain Zephyr felt the same satisfaction he always experienced at this moment. Soon, the humans would join the 237 other species that had found peace and prosperity under Valdorian guidance. He had no way of knowing that this time would be different. The humans were about to surprise the Valdorians in ways they had never imagined possible. 3 weeks had passed since the Harmony of Spheres began watching Earth. Captain Zephyr 9 Ascending stood on his bridge, feeling ready to make history. His science team had learned enough about human language and culture to begin proper first. Contact? Dr. Harmony, are the communication arrays ready? He asked. Yes, Captain. We have prepared the standard mathematical sequence. We will begin with prime numbers, then move to geometric patterns, and finally to basic pictographs. Zephyr nodded. This was how it always began. Mathematics was universal. Any intelligent species that had reached space would understand prime numbers and geometric shapes. It was the perfect way to show that the signals were artificial and came from another intelligence. Begin transmission, he ordered. The powerful transmitters on the Harmony of Spheres sent a focused beam toward Earth. The signal contained a simple sequence: 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23. Prime numbers that no natural process could create. On Earth, radio telescopes picked up the signal within hours. The humans were excited. Dr. Amanda Clark, a linguist working for the United Nations, was called to help analyze the transmission. "This is incredible," she said, studying the pattern on her computer screen. "This is clearly artificial. Someone is trying to communicate with us." The human response came faster than the Valdorians expected. Within 12 hours, Earth's largest radio telescope sent back the same sequence of prime numbers, followed by the next 5 primes in the series. The humans had understood and were responding. "Excellent," Captain Zephyr said. "They are intelligent and quick to learn. Begin Phase 2. The second phase involved geometric patterns. The Valdorians transmitted simple shapes, circles, triangles, squares. They showed mathematical relationships like the value of pi and the Pythagorean theorem. The humans responded with their own geometric patterns, proving they understood the concepts. Dr. Amanda Clark led a team of scientists, mathematicians, and linguists who worked day and night to decode the alien messages. The world watched as humanity made its first contact with intelligent life from another world. "They are clearly trying to establish communication," Dr. Clark reported to the United Nations Security Council. "The patterns are too complex and organized to be natural. We are talking to aliens," the news spread around the world. Some humans were afraid, but most were excited. This was the greatest discovery in human history. Earth's governments quickly formed a first contact committee with representatives from major nations. Commander Jake Rodriguez, a former Air Force pilot, was chosen to lead the human response team. He worked with Dr. Clark and 2 other scientists, Dr. Lisa Wang, a physicist, and Dr. Carl Peterson, a biologist. "Our priority is to learn as much as possible about these aliens," Commander Rodriguez told his team. "We need to know if they are friendly, what they want, and what they are capable of." The Valdorians moved to Phase 3 of their contact protocol. They began sending pictographs, simple drawings that showed their peaceful intentions. They drew pictures of their ship, their planet, and themselves. They showed images of different species living together in harmony. The humans responded with their own pictures. They showed Earth, human beings, and various human activities. The Valdorians were pleased to see images of humans helping each other, working together, and caring for their planet. "They appear to understand the concept of cooperation," Dr. Harmony reported. "This is very promising." After another week of pictographic communication, Captain Zephyr decided it was time for direct contact. The Valdorians sent a message showing their ship landing on Earth's surface and peaceful meetings between the 2 species. The humans responded by sending coordinates for a meeting place in the Nevada desert. Far from populated areas, they included images showing that their representatives would be unarmed and peaceful. "Prepare the shuttle," Captain Zephyr ordered. "We will follow standard protocol. A small team will make initial contact while the main ship remains in orbit." Dr. Harmony and Dr. Melody 3 Seeking joined Captain Zephyr on the shuttle. As they descended toward Earth, they could see the humans had prepared a landing site. With clear markings and several temporary buildings, the landing was smooth. The shuttle touched down on the desert floor as the sun was setting. The Valdorians could see human vehicles in the distance, but the humans stayed back, giving them space. Captain Zephyr stepped out of the shuttle first. The Earth air was thin, compared to his homeworld, but breathable. The gravity was lighter than he was used to. He walked slowly toward the humans. His 6 arms spread wide to show he carried no weapons. Commander Rodriguez walked out to meet him, followed by Dr. Clark and the other scientists. The human leader was shorter than Zephyr, but walked with confidence. He stopped about 10 feet away and raised his hand in what the Valdorians had learned was a human greeting. "Welcome to Earth," Commander Rodriguez said slowly and clearly. "Captain." Zephyr activated his translation device. The Valdorians had been studying human languages for weeks and had built a basic translator. "Greetings, humans of Earth," Zephyr replied. "I am Captain Zephyr 9 Ascending of the research vessel Harmony of Spheres. We come in peace and friendship. The first meeting lasted for several hours. The humans showed great curiosity about the Valdorians and their technology. They asked many questions about other worlds and other species. The Valdorians were impressed by human intelligence and their eagerness to learn. We represent a collective of peaceful species, Dr. Harmony explained through the translator. We have helped many worlds join our galactic community. We would like to help your people as well. Dr. Clark took careful notes of everything the alien said. What kind of help do you offer? She asked. We can share technology that will solve many of your problems, Dr. Melody said. Clean energy, medical advances, environmental restoration. We can help your people live longer, healthier lives. The humans were clearly interested. They asked detailed questions about Valdorian technology and society. They wanted to know about other species in the Galactic Collective and how the system worked. We have much to learn from each other, Commander Rodriguez said. Your people have achieved amazing things. We would be honored to learn from your experience. Captain Zephyr was pleased. This was exactly how first contact usually went. The humans were responding perfectly to Valdorian offers of friendship and assistance. Over the following days, the cultural exchange continued. The Valdorians set up a temporary base near the landing site. They shared basic scientific principles with the humans and demonstrated simple technologies. Dr. Wang was amazed by Valdorian energy systems. This fusion reactor is incredibly efficient. She said, it could solve our energy problems completely. Dr. Peterson studied Valdorian medical knowledge. These healing techniques are far beyond anything we have. They could help millions of people. The Valdorians were equally impressed by human creativity and adaptability. They studied human art, music, and literature with great interest. They were particularly fascinated by human stories and films. Humans have remarkable imagination, Dr. Harmony noted. Their creative works show deep emotional understanding and complex moral thinking. The exchange seemed to be going perfectly. The humans were grateful for Valdorian knowledge and eager to learn more. They spoke of the benefits that advanced technology would bring to their world. We can help your people reach the stars, Captain Zephyr told the human delegation. Within a few decades, you could be traveling between worlds, exploring the galaxy alongside other species. The humans seemed excited by this prospect. They asked many questions about interstellar travel and what life was like on other worlds. They wanted to know about the Galactic Collective and how new species were integrated into it. It is a gradual process, Dr. Melody explained. We work with each species at their own pace. We help them develop the technology and social structures needed for galactic citizenship. Eventually, they become full members of the collective. Commander Rodriguez nodded thoughtfully. And all species in the collective work together peacefully? Yes, Captain Zephyr said proudly. We have eliminated war and conflict. All species contribute their unique abilities for the common good. It is a perfect system. The humans asked to have time to discuss the Valdorian offer with their governments. This was normal and expected. The Valdorians agreed to continue the cultural exchange, while the humans made their decision. As the Valdorians prepared to return to their ship for the night, Captain Zephyr felt satisfied with the day's progress. The humans were reacting exactly as expected. Soon, they would formally request to join the Galactic Collective. He had no idea that the humans were already making very different plans. The cultural exchange had been going well for 2 weeks. Captain Zephyr 9 Ascending was pleased with the progress. The humans seemed eager to learn and grateful for Valdorian guidance. Everything was proceeding according to the standard first contact protocols, but Dr. Harmony 7 Flowing was beginning to notice strange things in the human data files. She sat at her workstation on the Harmony of Spheres, studying the information they had gathered about human history and culture. Captain, I need to show you something, she said, her voice carrying a note of concern. Zephyr moved to her station. What have you discovered? The human historical records are unusual. Look at this. She brought up a display showing human History over the past few thousand years. They have been fighting wars constantly. Not just small conflicts, but massive wars involving millions of their people. Zephyr studied the data with growing alarm. The record showed battle after battle, war after war, stretching back through human history. Perhaps this is normal for a developing species, he said hopefully. Many species go through violent periods before they mature. Captain, this is different. Look at the scale of these conflicts. Dr. Harmony showed him records of the two world wars. In just the last century, they fought wars that killed over 100 million people. That is more deaths than most species have in their entire recorded history. The numbers were staggering. The Valdorians had never encountered a species with such a violent past. Most civilizations had small conflicts, but nothing like what the humans had experienced. Show me more, Zephyr said quietly. Dr. Harmony continued her presentation. They have weapons that can destroy entire cities in seconds. They call them nuclear weapons. They have built thousands of these weapons, enough to destroy all life on their planet many times over. That cannot be correct, Zephyr said. No species would build weapons capable of destroying their own world. The data is clear, Captain. They built these weapons during something they call the Cold War. Two human nations pointed these weapons at each other for decades. They came very close to using them several times. Zephyr felt a chill run through his body. This was beyond anything in Valdorian experience. Perhaps they have changed. The humans we have met seem peaceful. I hope so, Captain. But there is more. They still maintain large military forces. They spend enormous amounts of money on weapons and soldiers. They have wars happening right now in different parts of their world. Dr. Melody Three-Seeking joined the conversation. I have been studying their entertainment media, she said. Captain, they make thousands of movies and television shows about war and violence. They seem to enjoy watching simulated combat and destruction. That is ... concerning, Zephyr admitted. What else have you found? Their heroes are often warriors and soldiers. They celebrate military victories and honor those who have killed enemies in battle. This is very different from other species we have encountered. The more they learned about human history, the more worried the Valdorians became. Every species they had previously contacted had been essentially peaceful. Wars were rare and usually small. The humans seemed to have turned warfare into an art form. Perhaps we should be more careful in our approach, Dr. Harmony suggested. This species may not be ready for integration into the Galactic Collective. Before Captain Zephyr could respond, another crew member called out from the communications station. Captain, we are detecting encrypted transmissions from the human governments. They are using codes we cannot break? Encrypted transmissions? Zephyr asked. About what? We do not know, sir. The codes are very advanced. But the volume of traffic has increased dramatically since we made contact. This was also unusual. Previous species had been open about their communications after first contact. They had nothing to hide from their new galactic friends. Why were the humans using secret codes? Dr. Melody worked at her station trying to analyze the encrypted signals. Captain, I am detecting patterns in the transmissions. They appear to be coordinating responses between different human governments. Coordinating what kind of responses? Zephyr asked. I cannot be certain, but the timing suggests they are planning something related to our contact with them. Captain Zephyr felt unease growing in his chest. Keep monitoring those transmissions. I want to know what the humans are planning. Over the next few days, the Valdorians discovered more troubling information. The humans had been studying every piece of technology the Valdorians had shared. But they were not just trying to understand it, they were trying to figure out how to use it for military purposes. They have been reverse engineering our fusion reactor design, Dr. Harmony reported. But they are not building power plants. They are working on weapons applications. Weapons? Zephyr asked in shock. They want to turn our peaceful technology into weapons? It appears so, Captain. They have teams of scientists working around the clock to understand our technology. But their focus is on military applications, not peaceful uses. The situation became even more concerning when they detected unusual energy signatures from the outer parts of the human star system. Dr. Melody analyzed the readings with growing alarm. Captain, there are large objects moving in the outer system. The energy signatures are consistent with advanced propulsion systems. Human spacecraft? Zephyr asked. Yes, sir. But these are much larger than anything we have seen from them before. And they are moving this way. Captain Zephyr studied the sensor readings. The objects were still far away, but they were definitely heading toward Earth. How many objects? At least 20, sir. Possibly more. They are maintaining radio silence, but their energy signatures suggest they are military vessels. The realization hit Captain Zephyr like a physical blow. The humans had been lying to them. While their diplomats spoke of peace and friendship, their military forces were preparing for something very different. They have been planning this from the beginning, he said quietly. The friendly meetings, the eager questions, the grateful responses, it was all an act. Dr. Harmony nodded grimly. They have been using our cultural exchange to learn about our capabilities while hiding their true intentions. And now they are bringing warships, Dr. Melody added. This is not how first contact is supposed to work. Captain Zephyr called an emergency meeting of his senior staff. They gathered in the ship's main conference room, their faces showing worry and confusion. We have made a serious mistake, Zephyr began. This species is not like the others we have encountered. They are deceptive, militaristic, and potentially dangerous. What do you recommend, Captain? Asked his security chief, Rhythm 5 flowing. We need to be prepared for the possibility that the humans may try to take our ship or our technology. By force, this is unprecedented in our experience. The Valdorians had never faced a hostile species before. Their ships were designed for scientific research, not combat. They had some defensive systems, but nothing compared to a real warship. Should we withdraw? Dr. Harmony asked. Not yet, Zephyr decided. We need to understand their intentions. But we must be very careful. The next day, during their regular meeting with the human delegation, Captain Zephyr tried to probe for information about the approaching fleet. We have detected spacecraft in your outer system, he said carefully. Are these connected to our cultural exchange? Commander Rodriguez showed no surprise at the question. Yes, we felt it would be appropriate to have some of our space vessels nearby during this historic first contact. Space vessels? Dr. Harmony asked. Are these military ships? Some of them, Rodriguez admitted. We hope you understand that we need to be cautious. This is the first time we have encountered alien life. Our people are naturally concerned about security. The casual way Rodriguez spoke about military ships made the Valdorians even more nervous. He was treating it as perfectly normal to have warships present during a peaceful first contact. We assure you that we mean no harm, Captain Zephyr said. There is no need for military precautions. We appreciate that, Rodriguez replied. But I am sure you understand that we need to be prepared for any situation. That evening, as the Valdorians returned to their ship, Captain Zephyr felt deeply troubled. Everything about this first contact was wrong. The humans were not responding like any species they had encountered before. Captain, Dr. Melody said quietly, I have been analyzing the human military data we intercepted. Their weapons technology is far more advanced than we initially believed. How advanced? Zephyr asked. They have been developing space-based weapons for decades. Their military doctrine includes plans for fighting battles between planets and star systems. Captain Zephyr stopped walking. They have been planning for interstellar warfare? Yes, sir. They call it space warfare doctrine. They have been preparing for the possibility of fighting enemies from other worlds. The implications were staggering. While the Valdorians had been approaching humans as potential new members of their peaceful collective, the humans had been treating them as potential enemies from the very beginning. We are not dealing with a primitive species that needs guidance, Zephyr realized. We are dealing with a species that has been preparing for war among the stars. As the harmony of spheres orbited Earth that night, Captain Zephyr stared out at the approaching human fleet. The human fleet arrived 3 days later. Captain Zephyr 9 Ascending watched through the main viewing screen as ship after ship emerged from faster-than-light travel. His breathing became rapid as he counted the vessels appearing in space. "Around Earth? How many ships?" he asked his sensor operator. 37 confirmed, Captain. More are still arriving." Dr. Harmony 7 Flowing studied her instruments with growing alarm. "Captain, the lead ship is enormous. It is over 1 kilometer long and heavily armed." Zephyr stared at the massive vessel that now dominated the space near Earth. It was larger than any ship the Valdorians had ever built. Weapon ports lined its hull, and smaller attack craft swarmed around it like angry insects. "What kind of species builds warships that size?" Dr. Melody 3 Seeking whispered. The answer came when the human fleet began broadcasting on open channels. The voice that filled the bridge of the harmony of spheres was clear, strong, and completely different from the friendly diplomats they had been meeting on Earth. "Alien vessel, this is Admiral Kate Harrison of the United Earth Space Navy, commanding the battleship UES Retribution. You will respond immediately." Captain Zephyr looked at his crew. None of them knew how to respond to such a direct, aggressive greeting. In 3 centuries of first contact, no species had ever spoken to them like this. "Open a communication channel," Zephyr ordered, his voice shaking slightly. "This is Captain Zephyr 9 Ascending of the research vessel Harmony of Spheres. We greet you in peace and friendship." Admiral Harrison's response was immediate and harsh. "Cut the diplomatic talk, alien. We know exactly what you want. This conversation is going to be very different from the ones you have been having with our ground team." "I do not understand," Zephyr said. "We have come here to offer friendship and assistance to your people." "No, you have come here to conquer us," Admiral Harrison replied. "You just use prettier words than most invaders." The accusation hit Zephyr like a physical blow. "We are not invaders. We are members of a peaceful collective. We help younger species join the galactic community." "Right? You help them join by destroying their independence and turning them into parts of your collective. We have studied your methods, Captain. We know what happens to species that accept your help." Zephyr felt confusion and fear building in his chest. "Our methods are peaceful. We guide species toward a better future." "Your methods are conquest through cultural destruction," Admiral Harrison said coldly. "You take independent civilizations and turn them into copies of yourselves. You call it integration, we call it cultural genocide." "That is not true," Dr. Harmony protested over the communication link. "We preserve the unique characteristics of each species." "Do you?" Admiral Harrison asked. "Tell me, alien, how many of the species in your collective still live on their homeworlds? How many still practice their original religions? How many still govern themselves?" The questions created terrible silence on the Valdorian bridge. Zephyr realized he did not have good answers. Most species in the collective did live on colony worlds managed by the central government. Most had adopted Valdorian spiritual practices. Most were governed by councils that included Valdorian advisors. "We helped them become better than they were," Zephyr said weakly. "You helped them become you," Admiral Harrison replied. "Well, Captain, humanity is not interested in becoming anything other than human. We will remain independent, we will govern ourselves, and we will explore the galaxy on our own terms." The conversation was interrupted when Dr. Melody called out from her station. "Captain, I am detecting weapons lock from multiple human vessels. They are targeting our ship." Zephyr felt panic rising in his throat. "Admiral Harrison, please." "There is no need for weapons. We can discuss this peacefully." "We are discussing it peacefully," Admiral Harrison said. "I am explaining humanity's position in terms you can understand. Earth will not be joining your collective. Any attempt to proceed with your integration protocols will be met with military force. You cannot fight the entire galactic collective," Dr. Harmony said. "We have the resources of hundreds of worlds." "Then you had better send word back to those hundreds of worlds," Admiral Harrison replied. Tell them that humanity is not interested in their guidance, their help, or their collective. Tell them that Earth is off limits. Captain Zephyr tried a different approach. Admiral, you do not understand the benefits we can offer. We can help your people live longer, healthier lives. We can give you technology that will solve your environmental problems. We can teach you to travel safely between the stars. We will solve our own problems and build our own starships, Admiral Harrison said. We do not need your help. But the knowledge we offer could advance your civilization by thousands of years, Zephyr pleaded. At the cost of our independence and identity, Admiral Harrison replied. That is too high a price. The human fleet began moving into attack formation around the harmony of spheres. Zephyr could see weapons charging and targeting systems locking onto his ship. You are making a terrible mistake, he said desperately. The Galactic Collective brings peace and prosperity to all member species. Your collective brings slavery disguised as assistance, Admiral Harrison replied. We have studied your integration process. Species that join your collective lose their ability to make independent decisions. They become dependent on your technology and guidance. Within a few generations, they are no longer truly themselves. Dr. Amanda Clark's voice joined the conversation. She was now aboard the UES Retribution, no longer the friendly diplomat from the desert meetings. Captain Zephyr, she said, we have analyzed every species in your collective. Not one of them has maintained true independence. Not one of them still controls its own destiny. You turn independent civilizations into client states. We provide guidance and protection, Zephyr insisted. You provide control and domination, Dr. Clark replied. The species in your collective cannot make major decisions without Valdorian approval. They cannot develop new technologies without Valdorian oversight. They cannot even explore space without Valdorian permission. The accusations were hitting too close to truth for Zephyr's comfort. The collective did require member species to follow certain guidelines. Major decisions were made by councils that included Valdorian representatives. New technologies were shared through Valdorian oversight committees. These systems exist for the good of all, he said. These systems exist to maintain Valdorian control, Admiral Harrison said. Well, Captain, humanity rejects your system entirely. We will make our own decisions, develop our own technologies, and explore space according to our own plans. But you will make mistakes, Dr. Harmony said. Without guidance, young species often destroy themselves. Then we will learn from our mistakes, Admiral Harrison replied. That is what makes us human. We would rather face an uncertain future as ourselves than accept a safe future as your servants. The human fleet moved closer to the harmony of spheres. Zephyr could see that they were completely surrounded. The humans had positioned their ships to prevent any escape. What do you want from us? Zephyr asked. We want you to leave, Admiral Harrison said simply. Return to your collective and tell them that humanity is not available for integration. Tell them that Earth is under the protection of the United Earth Space Navy, and if we refuse, then you will discover that humans have been preparing for interstellar warfare for much longer than you realize, Admiral Harrison replied. Your technology is impressive, Captain, but we have had 2 weeks to study it. We have improved upon your designs and adapted them to our military doctrine. To prove her point, Admiral Harrison ordered a demonstration. One of the human destroyers fired a single shot at a small asteroid near the edge of the system. The asteroid simply vanished in a flash of light. That weapon uses principles we learned from your fusion technology, Admiral Harrison explained. But we have made it considerably more efficient than your original design. Zephyr stared in shock at where the asteroid had been. The weapon that destroyed it was based on Valdorian technology, but it was far more powerful than anything his people had ever built. How is that possible? Dr. Harmony whispered. Humans are very good at taking peaceful technology and finding military applications, Admiral Harrison said. It is one of our special talents. The demonstration had its intended effect. Captain Zephyr realized that the humans had not just copied Valdorian technology, they had improved it and weaponized it. The peaceful gifts meant to help humanity had been turned into tools of war. "You have turned our gift into a weapon," he said sadly. "We have turned your gift into a deterrent," Admiral Harrison corrected. "This is why humanity will remain independent. We do not accept help that comes with strings attached." Captain Zephyr looked around his bridge at his frightened crew. For the first time in Valdorian history, a first contact mission had failed completely. Not only had the target species rejected integration, they had become a potential threat. "Admiral Harrison," he said finally, "what message should I take back to the collective?" "Tell them that humanity claims this system as sovereign territory," Admiral Harrison replied. Captain Zephyr 9 Ascending stared at the human fleet surrounding his ship. The massive warships hung in space like metal predators, their weapons trained on the harmony of spheres. He had never been in a situation like this before. No Valdorian had. "Captain," Dr. Harmony 7 Flowing said quietly, "what are your orders?" Zephyr did not know how to answer. The standard protocols had no guidance for this situation. First contact was supposed to end with the new species gratefully joining the Galactic Collective. It was not supposed to end with threats and warships. "Admiral Harrison," he said over the communication channel, "surely we can reach some kind of agreement. The Collective has much to offer humanity." "We have heard your offer, Captain," Admiral Harrison replied from the bridge of the UES Retribution. "We reject it completely. The only agreement we will accept is your departure from this system. But without guidance, your species will face many dangers," Dr. Melody 3 Seeking protested. "There are hostile forces in the galaxy. Pirates, raiders, aggressive species. The Collective provides protection." "We will provide our own protection," Admiral Harrison said firmly. "Humanity has been defending itself for thousands of years. We do not need alien guardians." Captain Zephyr felt desperation growing in his chest. This was going against everything he had been taught about how the galaxy worked. "You do not understand the complexity of galactic politics. There are powers out there that could destroy your entire civilization." "Then we will face them as humans," Admiral Harrison replied. "We would rather die free than live as subjects in your collective." The words sent a chill through the Valdorian bridge crew. They had never encountered a species that preferred death to integration. It went against everything they believed about intelligent life. "Captain," his security chief whispered, "perhaps we should demonstrate our superior firepower. Show them that resistance is futile." Zephyr considered this option. The harmony of spheres had powerful defensive systems and energy, weapons far more advanced than anything humans should be able to build. A show of force might convince them to reconsider. "Activate defensive systems," he ordered. "Charge the main energy array." The ship's systems hummed to life. Energy fields surrounded the hull and weapon ports opened. The Valdorians had never used these systems against an intelligent species, but they were confident in their technological superiority. "Admiral Harrison," Captain Zephyr announced, "you are forcing us to take defensive action. Please reconsider your position." The human response was immediate and devastating. The entire human fleet opened fire at once. Dozens of energy beams, missile strikes, and kinetic projectiles hit the harmony of spheres from every direction. The ship's defensive fields held for exactly 3 seconds before collapsing. Warning alarms screamed throughout the vessel as systems failed and hull breaches appeared. The bridge filled with smoke and sparks flew from damaged control panels. "Impossible!" Dr. Harmony shouted over the noise. "Their weapons should not be able to penetrate our defenses." But the impossible was happening. The human weapons were not only penetrating Valdorian defenses, they were overwhelming them completely. The harmony of spheres, one of the most advanced ships in the Galactic Collective, was being destroyed by a species that had only learned about faster-than-light travel 2 weeks ago. "Cease fire!" Captain Zephyr broadcast desperately. "We surrender! We surrender!" The human attack stopped instantly. The sudden silence was almost as shocking as the violence had been. Captain Zephyr looked around his damaged bridge, hardly believing they were still alive. "How?" he whispered. Admiral Harrison's voice came through the speakers. calm and controlled. Did you really think we spent 2 weeks just chatting with your people, Captain? We have been studying your technology, improving it, and building weapons. You never imagined. Dr. Amanda Clark's voice joined the conversation. Captain Zephyr, your people made a fundamental mistake. You assumed that because we seem primitive, we were also stupid. You shared your technology with a species that has spent its entire history turning tools into weapons. But our technology is thousands of years more advanced, Dr. Melody protested. Weakly, your technology is more advanced, Admiral Harrison agreed. But you have never had to use it in real combat. You have never faced an enemy that was trying to kill you. We have been fighting wars for our entire existence. We know how to turn any tool into a weapon and any advantage into a victory. Captain, Zephyr began to understand the magnitude of his mistake. The Valdorians had given humans advanced technology, thinking they were helping a primitive species. Instead, they had given weapons training to a species that had perfected the art of warfare over thousands of years. Your fusion technology became our fusion bombs, Dr. Clark explained. Your energy field generators became our shield breakers. Your faster-than-light communication system became our tactical coordination network. Everything you taught us, we weaponized. But why? Zephyr asked. We came in peace. We offered friendship. You came to conquer us? Admiral Harrison replied. You just planned to do it slowly, over generations, until we forgot we had ever been independent. We studied the species in your collective, Captain. We know what you do to them. The human fleet maintained its aggressive formation around the damaged Valdorian ship. Captain Zephyr could see that several more human vessels were arriving from the outer system. The humans had been preparing for this confrontation while pretending to be interested in peaceful cooperation. What happens now? Zephyr asked. Now you leave, Admiral Harrison said simply. You return to your collective and deliver humanity's message. Earth is not available for integration. This system is under human protection. Any future contact will be on human terms. And if the collective decides to send a larger force? Doctor, Harmony asked. Then they will discover that humans are very good at building bigger weapons, Admiral Harrison replied. Captain, your collective has been successful because you have only encountered peaceful species. You have never faced a species that specializes in warfare. We have been preparing for interstellar conflict since before we knew aliens existed. The truth of this statement was evident in the space around Earth. The human fleet was not just large, it was organized for combat in ways that peaceful species would never consider. The ships moved in coordinated attack formations. Their weapons were designed for maximum destruction. Their tactics were based on thousands of years of military experience. You will start a war, Captain Zephyr said desperately. The collective will not tolerate this kind of resistance. Then the collective will learn what human warfare looks like, Admiral Harrison replied. We have been studying your member species. Captain, most of them have forgotten how to fight. They have become dependent on collective protection. But humans remember every lesson our ancestors learned about survival, Dr. Clark added her own warning. Tell your collective that humanity is not like the other species they have encountered. We do not want their protection. We do not need their guidance. We will explore the galaxy ourselves and make our own alliances. But you will be alone, Dr. Melody said. The collective offers companionship and shared knowledge. We will find our own companions among species that value independence, Admiral Harrison said. There must be other civilizations out there that do not want to be absorbed into your collective. We will ally with them. Captain Zephyr realized that the humans were not just rejecting integration, they were planning to actively oppose it. They intended to find other independent species and build their own alliance against the collective. You are talking about revolution, he said. We are talking about freedom, Admiral Harrison corrected. The galaxy does not belong to your collective, Captain. There is room for different ways of life, different forms of government, different approaches to existence. The damaged harmony of spheres began limping away from Earth under escort from human destroyers. As they reached the edge of the system, Captain Zephyr took one last look at the blue-green planet that had changed everything. "Prepare a message." "For the Collective Council," he ordered Dr. Harmony. "What should I tell them?" she asked. "Tell them that we have encountered a new type of species. Tell them that standard integration protocols have failed completely. Tell them that humanity represents a threat to everything we have built." Dr. Harmony began composing the message while Captain Zephyr continued to stare at Earth. "And tell them something else," he added. "Tell them that for the first time in our history, we may have encountered a species that is better at warfare than we are at peace." As the harmony of spheres jumped to faster-than-light speed, carrying its warning back to the Collective, Admiral Harrison stood on the bridge of the UES Retribution watching them go. "Think they got the message?" asked her executive officer, Commander Ryan Foster. "Oh, they got it," Admiral Harrison replied. "The question is whether the rest of their collective will listen." She turned to address her bridge crew. "Set course. For the outer system, we have work to do. If the collective decides to come back with a bigger fleet, we need to be ready." The human fleet moved away from Earth, beginning humanity's expansion into the galaxy not as supplicants seeking acceptance, but as an independent force prepared to fight for their right to exist on their own terms.